Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's Check back with part 2 of a RB6 Siege VOD on review at the request of DMG. We are looking today at part 2 of DMG versus SCC on Kafe. And what this will do is this will be a review of the team dynamics from both teams to point out some things that each team's doing well and hopefully point out a few opportunities and things they should reconsider in practice. So without further ado, we will continue part 2. If you did not have an opportunity to check out point 1, the link is in the description. Go to the videos, take a look. This picks up here in round 6, where we left off from the first video. So in the first video, we talk about operator bans and overall operator selection, as well as basic defense setup for the sites on Kafe, and basic kind of attacker mentality and things that need to be achieved in regards to securing what I like to call the checkmate cutoff, aka I'm gonna copyright that term, but a key point where you in the map where you can cut off a majority of rotations between site. All right, here SCC has elected to go with the kitchen and service first floor defense, and they brought a castle. So this will be interesting to see how the castle plays into their overall setup. So far, SCC is doing a traditional setup, reinforcing bakery wall. They're going to reinforce kitchen prep. They're going to probably, looks like they're reinforcing north wall of bakery / kitchen right here. Back of freezer. All right, start of the round, here we go. 10 seconds in. So one of the things you want to do when you start the round is you want to use your drones as attackers to take a soft look at sight, see what kind of angles and opportunities and mistakes the defenders made in their setup, but also to see where the utility is and make adjustments accordingly. So right here you can tell that this particular wall was not reinforced by SCC. This will give the attackers a line of sight if they can open this into alpha if they have the right utility to be able to open both these walls at a distance. So that's something that to consider. So right now, Thatcher is banned, and this is a site that requires a lot of prep and area control via hard breach. So with that being said, I think the Maverick would have been a better pick here just to guarantee that DMG has the capability to open the wall. And the way that works is you bring the Maverick, you bring the Thermite, Maverick sticks a little hole in the wall up top, says Thermite, you're good to go. Thermite throws the flashbangs into the hole to burn the ADS. Maverick cooks a grenade, drops it up over the, slam dunks and over the reinforcement wall, takes out the wall denial utility, and then Maverick picks the pin off another grenade and says, hey man, if a bandit or Cade's on the other side of the wall hoping to trick, it's not your day. He drops another one off at the same time Thermite throws the charge on and exotherms through the wall. So that is the key strat of how you can open up most walls in this game. And if they have two ADSs, you just make a call to one of your throwable units over there, your Nomad and or your Habana and or your Sledge if it comes down to it, and then burn that second ADS. So looking at this setup, ideally you want common rank rules of RB6 Siege apply, and traditionally at this level, which is a flat level competitive game, you're going to want one Tango or one defender on Alpha, one defender controlling Bravo, one defender controlling the rotate and or the cutoff position, and the other two are kind of up to play style and how you're going to leverage them accordingly. But it's always good to have someone to contest bar / stairs and make sure that as they secure new bakery or small bakery, that they're not taking this control of site too quickly. So without that, without going into too many details, we're going to kick off the round, see how the teams respond accordingly. All right, DMG electing to go from a roam clear from the top down. Immediately using hatches to gain control of red stairs and droning out the top floor. One thing I will say, a point of opportunity here is there's no one behind this drone from an entry frag perspective, so your entry fragger should now be taking control of the top, right, to secure this for DMG and can say that hey, this is DMG real estate now. There they go. All right, they've already confirmed that most of the top's clear. They should be quickly taking positions on the stairs to cement their control up top. Once they have that, they can proceed down to the second floor, hopefully use the sledge to gain vertical gameplay into the kitchen. That's another way to open the kitchen walls, right? So without this thatcher, using vertical gameplay in the train museum room is another way to secure that you can open both the north and the west wall of kitchen by taking off any kind of wall denial that might be in that area. All right, Heiser is played by the entry fraggers and the flex. Right now, the flex, the Habana's got the diffuser pursuing a roamer. That's not a bad thing, but just keep that in mind. You got the diffuser out there in the open. On the flex cutoff. So here we go. At this point, always good to use the Nomad to leverage those air jabs for denial of stairs. So sticking an air jab on white stairs to give you that sound cue and cover the flank. So DMG doing a lot of droning. Taking a look to see what's down on side. All right, here we go. They're taking control and using their vertical control of sight here to hopefully punish SCC for not contesting them up here on the second floor of Kafe. As you can see, we'll go back. Just a sneak peek, hopefully 10 seconds. By opening those vertical angles, all the defenders have actually been pushed off site and or in the freezer. So right now, all the defenders are off site. They're looking for an opportunity to come up here and contest. Their lives are very complicated and uncomfortable here on Alpha and Bravo. So right now, from the defending perspective, I think this was a mistake. You should at least have two, in my opinion, two people on site at all times just to prevent any kind of real quick shenanigan rush by the attackers. Oh, and they do. All right, look at this castle. They're not as vulnerable as I said they were. That's good. Ooh, okay. And we'll back it up right there. So one of the things as the attackers is you cannot afford to go 1v1 with the defenders in trades, right? You can't just die. You can't just die and not get a refrag. So right there, the Habana pushes down the stairs, doesn't have this droned out, and there's no one there to refrag, right? The Thermite's behind her or another team player. As soon as the Habana goes down, second attacker makes the play, refrags on the Jaeger. And that does happen. Oh, had the cross there with the IQ. Excellent. Good play. You got to make those trades. Still keep the man advantage if you're DMG, hoping to push into sight. And a coordinated push here on the Echo, dropping the hatch and pushing in the bar door at the same time. But time. So you talk about the intangibles on this game. That's very important, right? So here you are, well-executed attack, but with 16 seconds left, right? They're about 30 to 40 seconds behind where they need to be here. So ideally, when you think about breaching site, you don't want utility, in-game utility, to really affect you. You got to be breaching and going in with that diffuser to plant at approximately 40 seconds. All sites are created equal, but you got to think, if they got a smoke and you have a lesion, the last thing you want is 10, 20 seconds left in the game. You open the wall and all of a sudden you're breathing in the smoke. You step on a goo mine, like you have a maestro cam, you got a grenade, like those types of things will mess up your late game plan up, and you don't want the defenders to leverage that utility to really stop you. So you have to anticipate those things and give yourself ample time to deal with it. And in my experience, it varies from pro league to amateur league players, but ideally I always say you want the diffuser and be in a position to plant it at about 40 seconds because it gives you enough time to make the adjustment if you need to and deal with that utility if it starts to cause you some problems. Ultimately, a good attack from DMG in regards to the tactics and execution of everything except the timing, right? Obviously, The defenders were able to buy enough time, and they come out with a win. So well played from SCC in regards to holding off, staying alive long enough to get them a mark in the win column. All right, to make this VOD a little bit shorter, this was collected real time by pin number 64 up here, or pin number. Hope I'm saying that right. I call him Pin for short, man. But he did the honor of actually using the controls to spectate this game real time and provide this footage. So shout out to Pin. Thank you. Did an excellent job at staying in, I call the God mode spectator mode, so you could see everything real time and the dynamics between the players as they push sites. All right, changing roles here. DMG going up top. On defense, electing to go third floor bar and cocktail. SCC is going to be taking the ball on offense, seeing what they can do. So this will be good to see the reversal of roles, how each team handles this change, right? So now that DMG's on defense, we're going to see their style of defense and how they're going to hold bar compared to SCC in round one. And round one, I meant part one of this YouTube VOD review series. I guess I must have started part two one round just too early. Would have been great to break it up offense and defense. Gotta keep that note for the next video. Alright, as a general note, if you're worried about getting rushed on site, you have about till 2 minutes and 40 seconds before the attackers can usually push site. Now that'll vary from site to site and map in the game, but you have about a 15 to 20 seconds after the start of the round before you really need to be conscientious of making sure you're locked, loaded, and ready to go and you're in position to counter the rush. SCC is going to elect to go from the hatches down as well, exert control over red stairs and the new hatch area of the map. Okay, so we'll take a look at that DMG setup right here. You have 1-2 reinforcements, and some people call this cigar lounge by its proper name. I hear a lot of piano and Christmas tree, but I'm going to call it lounge cigar, cigar lounge. I'll also call it piano. So if you hear any of those terms, this is the room where my mouse cursor is. This is what I'm talking about. All right, as we talked about in the last video, this is the cutoff room. What do I mean by the cutoff room? Well, I'm going to coin this term. If you control this room and you open up these angles, it has the ability to cut off the rotates, a majority of the rotates between Alpha and Bravo. And being able to cut off the rotates between Alpha and Bravo prevents the defenders from mobilizing and adjusting their utility and adjusting their positions to be able to deny a plant. So that's huge. This is the play that this is the room you absolutely need to take control of before you push side, in my opinion, at this play level. Right now they have 1-1 with a shield, kind of making this this peak here on this door. I would encourage a little more resistance to holding the room than this. I understand this is a good fallback position, but we'll see. Ideally, you want someone on Bravo. That's currently being played by the Echo, who's holding it from a distance with murder holes. Ideally, you'd also want someone in Alpha to deny white stairs, and I think that's what the Mozzie's doing right here. Hopefully that's the play. And they have the smoke here in this connector kind of between bathroom and, I call it back freeze, but these back room behind the bar. And this is a good spot for the smoke to play because he can leverage those smoke canisters and hit most of the default spots and deny access to both white stairs if he's got the proper rotates and the smoke holes pre-placed, as well as this bar door. Ideally, you want your defenders positioned where each of them has a crossfire. Crossfire is any time that a defender has two different defenders have two different angles on the same entry point. An example would be that this Echo has a line of sight to bar entry door from cigar shop. Smoke, if he was playing in the back here behind the bar, also has another soft angle onto that same door. So this Smoke and this Echo have two different angles onto this entry point. That's considered a crossfire, and ideally you want a crossfire for every entry point including doors, windows, and rotates on site. That's the mindset you should have. That won't always be possible, but if you can do that, you will be in a much stronger position. All right, the Mozzie and the Zofia duking it out here on White Stairs window. Ideally, I don't think this is a fight the Mozzie should take, simply because you don't need to take this fight. And with the Zofia ACOG, that's not necessarily ideal. Currently, woo! SCC breaches red stairs. They come in, they try to take control of the car. They are denied. Diffusers down. They lost their hard breach. They're not going to be able to open up any of these long angles into Bravo. This is going to be a significant hindrance to their push on site. Ooh, that's unfortunate. All right, the Wamai gets pushed off the shield from a Capital arrow. Now, I was just about to say I really like the Wamai play here because it prevents Capital from using his darts to really push you out of position. But unfortunately, there wasn't any magnets in play, or if there was, they got burned very quickly. And that arrow, that fire arrow was well placed by Capital. That fire is going to push the Wamai out of position. And now the SCC, the attackers, are going to take control of this cutoff position. And we're gonna see how they're gonna leverage it to hopefully put up more of a fight than they have here. Good pick from the freezer on the Capital. And DMG electing to not reinforce these as I anticipated and actually left them open and soft to make some of these long angle plays when the attackers pushed this cutoff position, aka Cigar Lounge. Oh, but they were reinforced. Man, I gotta get my eyes checked. Hard to tell here from the spectator cam. Ah, okay. They were reinforced. And the round goes to DMG. Good hold. They definitely refrag when they needed to, and they made the attackers feel very uncomfortable, and it did not allow them to leverage their advantage there with taking control of the cutoff. Took it back pretty quick with some force. Again, notice I'm always a fan of banning the Nomad, and here they brought the Nomad every round. Just wanted to point that out. A lot of players ask me, you know, hey, check, what do you have with banning the Nomad? Why do you always want to ban the Nomad? Well, if you watch any of my other VOD reviews, you know how I feel about Nomad. I think she's one of the most OP flex players or flex operators in the game. And I like a lot of things about her, man. I like her backstory. I like her. I like her loadouts. I even like her ability. I just don't like playing against it. Those 3 air jabs are like 3 claymores, and if she saves them and puts them on the inside, it's like having 3 flank watches. It makes it very challenging to get a late game aggressive push and to take back space that they take from you and air jab off. All right, DMG going down to the basement, or excuse me, very bottom floor, kitchen service. All right, traditional hold up, holding prep. Reinforcements on kitchen prep, reinforcements on kitchen wall, both sides, north and west, reinforcing the east side of bakery. They also left this angle soft. Most people aren't going to abuse this angle, but one thing that was immediately a big blunder here by DMG that the attackers are taking full advantage of, they left open alpha and kitchen prep. So in this ideal setup, you want one tango playing alpha, one tango playing bravo, and then one of your guys sitting here controlling the prep. And by controlling prep, you control this west wall of Kafe. So I hesitate because I'm looking at my map because I get my north and my west slightly confused, and it's easy to get them up. But this cupcake counter, this bakery counter wall, if you control kitchen prep door, you have a 90-degree angle here, and no one is going to take control of this wall. It would be a mistake to push this wall with a hard breach or any kind of utility until you clear this angle in kitchen prep. So right now, SCC's made the right move. They've come in, they take control of kitchen prep, and they're doing exactly what I'm going to say. Now they're going to give the green light for the thermite to open up this wall and push side. Actually, they told thermite to abort. They had control of alpha. Bro, you don't need it opened up. Just come in here and plant the diffuser. And he rotates and he's going to plant here. And SCC will get the plant off. SCC is going to take this round simply because they took advantage here in the opening seconds and recognized that DMG did not have a tango on alpha. That was the weak side, and they were going to push in and make this happen. So currently a 3v1 with two guns on site, watching both ways in. That's a hard retake. DMG pays the price. That's a completely different round if you observe the check rules of having one on alpha, one on bravo, one controlling the rotate. Alright, DMG going back to kitchen service, doing a similar setup with a similar loadout. Notice they're bringing 3 wall denials, Mute, Bandit, and Cade. Absolutely nobody's getting into anything without some kind of utility they're going to have to destroy. Alright, so while we're talking about this, let's just talk about some of the other operators you might want to consider in regards to anchor position, especially on this site. I'm a big fan of Maestro. He's not banned. You throw an Evil Eye right here on Bravo, this deep sink, and you face it towards this door. You can see traditional plant right here. You can see the door. Even if Maestro dies, this Evil Eye acts like a camera, right? It's an extra camera, gives you intel whether or not they're pushing this side of sight. Also, you have sound cues for the hatch drop and any kind of push into freezer. Great position for an Evil Eye. Second Evil Eye, that's a great question. You have a couple different options, but you could stick one on here looking down towards kitchen prep, so you have the camera cue and the sound cues in the event that you lose control of kitchen prep. And the way you could lose control of kitchen prep is once this wall opens, there's a line of sight from the door all the way back here through the kitchen prep little window or the service window. And so at that point, it's no longer really viable to play here. But if you have a camera, you can get someone on this camera and tell the defender that's playing alpha on this door when to peek and when they're pushing, and you can make some plays and trades and really make their life complicated in regards to contesting the space. So this will be more of a no man's land with a camera versus without. Just some things to take into consideration, but ultimately positioning here, we're not quite done with the prep phase. Okay, once again, vertical gameplay like we talked in the first part of this video is huge on this particular site, especially to open this wall denial. So ideally you want, 1, 2, 3. It's okay maybe to have 4 anchors, but ideally you also want at least 1 roamer up top giving some sort of kind of calls and contesting the space they're going to need to play vertically on site. Potentially 2 roamers if you're going to leverage kind of a 2 refrag strategy. So that's something to think about. And refrag is what I mean by that is you got a pair of roamers up top. If one of them dies, they can trade off. Ideally, they trade 2 for 2 and make it a 3 for 3 with 3 anchors on site. SCC coming in through the bakery, doing a traditional bakery push first floor. Does not look like they're going to send anyone up top to do a top-down roam clear and or engage in vertical gameplay just yet. As this Jaeger roaming around up top, if he really wants to draw some attention to himself and waste some time, you can shoot these windows out, let him know that you're up top and you're watching, or at least, make him a little paranoid. I wouldn't take the engagement and or spawn peek. Don't peek them. Just let them know that you can, right? And see how they respond. If they ignore you, that tells you a lot about their playstyle. And if they come up there to get you, well, that tells you a lot about their playstyle, but gives you an opportunity to hunker down, waste some time, make them contest off site, and use some utility, take some of the utility away from site to take you out. So I'm gonna go back and watch this frag by the smoke on the bakery door, on this kitchen service door. Oh, with the shotgun, very beautiful. So there you go. When you're pushing the shield, you have to be careful by who, think about what operator's behind that shield and if they have a shotgun. Because if you're going to CQC against a shotgun, you definitely don't want to do that as a attacker. You don't want to allow that defender with the shotgun to use that close range, one shot, one tap of the death, as a competitive, within the range of their competitive advantage and just tap you off like that. Ideally, you want to force them out into a longer range gunfight. Some great picks by DMG. Oh, look at this. This is the ideal setup this time. They got 1, 2, 3, Alpha, Bravo, and Connector. Kitchen prep. So the kid going for the refrag, but not quite making it. That's okay. Alright, 3v2, 3 defenders versus 2 attackers. This Jaeger can continue to deny vertical gameplay, but also look for an opportunity to get close to site to rotate back in case the Nomad and the Thermite link up here and push together. The Jaeger has to be in a position to help his team real quick when they decide to push site. DMG electing to go bar cocktail, top floor cafe. Looking at their setup, they're bringing 1 ACOG. They already lost the Jaeger. What happened? We're not even out of the prep phase yet. That's the disadvantage of doing these reviews real time without a script. You gotta pay attention to every detail to make sure you don't miss a key teachable moment. Yeah, I see you, Jaeger. White stairs. Oh, and an unfortunate team kill. That was unfortunate. So DMG already down a man. By accident, looks like. Shots have been fired. Alright, so hey, team kills, they happen. It's part of the nature of Siege. Ideally, they shouldn't. Trigger control is very important, both in real life and in video games. Right now, they lost the man, but the good news is the utility's down. So Jaeger's got his ADSs down. He's got most of his utility and his reinforcement, so it's not like a true disconnect. So the way you want to read into this as an attacker, right now, as an attacker IGL, I know that the team is down 1 less gun, so I would figure that into my equation. If this player disconnected before the round, not only are they down 1 less gun, they're down whatever utility that operator had, plus 2 reinforcements. So I'm going to be immediately looking for weaknesses in the defense using those prep drones because of the 2 reinforcements. I know that they're not there, right? They were disconnected, not put up. With that being said, with this position as an attacking squad, SCC should really be thinking about how they're going to use this man advantage. So now that they got one, they obviously definitely don't want to go, take one-on-one gunfights. And if they do, they absolutely want to trade off. In this scenario, attackers, my general rule of thumb, attackers shouldn't be taking one-for-one gunfights because the defenders will win every time, especially the diffuser doesn't get plant. In this particular scenario, that changes that dynamic a little bit, and it's going to allow them to adapt. So we'll see how SCC takes advantage of this being a man up here from the get-go. Alright, so remember from my previous part 1 video, the cutoff is going to be Cigar Lounge Piano. This is a spot they're going to need to detect. So what it looks like here is DMG's opened these long angles to be able to play this ACOG and this angle in to deny. Similar setup to what we saw last time. Ooh, and the Monty just straight up melees this Wamai out of position. So Wamai's behind the shield. Hopefully this time, he's learned from the Capital event. He's got his magnets out to make sure he's safe, and between him and the ADS, he should be well protected, right? This is a good spot, this cutoff rotate. This cutoff positions where you want to dump a lot of utility to discourage them and make the attackers waste a ton of utility to take it. So this is an aggressive Monty. Man, he goes shield for shield here and rams. So in this scenario, Monty pushing you, you definitely don't want to take this CQC. You have to anticipate that there should have been someone behind the Monty, and there is now rotating in. You definitely in this scenario want to passively retreat, communicate that you're losing control of this site, and then talk to your guy on white stairs and or bar to see how you can take advantage of the angles that on this pretty much hitting this Monty in the back, right, and making it a 2v1. So that's a tough loss. DMG's now down -2, -3 because of this lost gunfight and trade. Alright, 2 defenders left, 3 attackers. Attackers have control of the rotate. At this point, usually when I say when you're losing, you need to make a play. You need to do something risky here to even the game out in your favor. I'm not 100% sure that's the right advice to follow in this situation. You have an ACOG holding Bravo. You have, I do believe it's a MP5 and or shotgun mute holding the white stairs. You still have a lot of control of sight. It's 1:46, so depending how they organize and make this push, the smoke and the mute need to talk about exactly when they're going to dynamically make a play together. Oh, and just like that, it becomes a 2-2, game on. Okay, in this scenario, we talk about crossfire. I like having one reinforcement here, right? Prevents, has a little protection to this side, whoever's playing white stairs. But now that you have 2 reinforcements, it really limits the mute's potential to have a crossfire on white stairs and watch white stairs from being here in what I'll call behind freezer, this back freezer keg room. Now this deep freeze keg room, if you think about it, this is a great spot to play for mute. Hopefully he still has a C4. From here he can throw his C4 and pretty much deny all the traditional plant spots. He can coordinate with this Echo to have a good crossfire and hold Bravo. At this point it's pretty evident based upon I think the Echo drones and just the sound cues that the play is coming from red stairs, so Alpha isn't really the concern. Yeah, you sure kind of need to watch your back just to make sure you don't have that, you don't have your not too biased and you leave it open. You kind of have a sound cues to give you a heads up like that barb on the stairs. But reality, I like the play by DMG to be positioning their operators to be able to make a play on Bravo. That's the correct play. So some plant deny with the yokai. Ooh. That's a little hit and run tactics. Push him off the defuse and then pick him off with the ACOG. So that's a little high risk. It definitely worked because you had him disoriented. I think the preferred play there would be to coordinate the yokai and the C4 in the attack with the mute to really drive home that crossfire and kind of tell the attackers they're not going to take this for free. Good play by the Echo. Berg, man, using the Echo drones, figuring out where the Nomad was and leveraging that long heaven ACOG angle to take that gunfight and win. All right, DMG elected to go. Reading room / fireplace hall, second floor of Kafe. Looking at the setup, very little wall denial. Really, only one we can guarantee is going to play on site is probably this smoke. And the other four, we'll have to see. Looking at what the attackers brought, they brought a pretty traditional lineup. The Nomad, the Thermite, the Buck, the IQ, the Capital. So they've learned, and they brought this lineup to directly counter what DMG has done in the previous rounds. They brought the Capital to deny the Walmai and the Shield. They brought the Echo to deny the, they brought the IQ to deny the Echo that they thought that DMG would play based upon their experience last round. They brought the Buck to have vertical gameplay, hard breach, and obviously their flex Nomad. They obviously have a they're one of those teams that runs a Nomad, and that just goes to further my point why you should ban Nomad every game. So Nomad's a good flex, good flank watch. I like the attacker's comp here. I think ideally, because you want to have some, I guess, traditional guarantees you're going to get hard breach open, I'm a big fan of bringing the Maverick. In this particular situation, I think I would even consider subbing the IQ out for the Maverick, just to kind of ensure that I have any kind of hard wall I need open, I can open. SCC is electing to go from a top-down roam clear to exert control over site through vertical gameplay and controlling the third floor. So good play by them using the Nomad on the windows and droning out from the red hatches. They're going to drop their entry fraggers here from the hatch and try to sweep across the top floor. The Nomad's off the window. I think that's a little early for the Nomad to get off. Maybe she's going to hold the skylight angle there just to kind of cover the cross of the Buck and everyone else entering into Cigar Lounge. I think if the Nomad gets back on the east window, she can make the roamer's life here for DMG very complicated. Alright, so one thing to take into consideration here, if you're roam clearing the third floor Kafe and you know you have control of the red stair sides, you're going to be pushing across, it may be beneficial to have someone on this east side, especially white stairs window and or cocktail window. The reason being is that if you have someone on especially white stairs window, any roamer that tries to retreat after you guys start droning and pushing site and systematically pushing them across here from the top floor, you're going to catch them in this rotate, right? As they rotate down the hatch or as they run down white stairs, if someone's here to make the play, usually most roamers here at I would call the low plat level are not going to anticipate running into that cutoff, that line of fire position, and it's going to be an easy pick as they try to rotate away from the roam clear. So good pacing by SCC. Here we are at the minute 22nd. They already have control of the top. Pretty firm roam clear. Ooh. Using their control of up top to exert some vertical gameplay and dominance on Bravo site here. They're going to open up the floor, rain down death from above. Okay, so 1 point of critique. SCC here's at the 40 seconds. They really need to be playing to breaching site, playing the diffuser. Buck's got the diffuser at this point. Definitely what needs to happen is the Buck needs to hand the diffuser off. And a lot of teams all like to hold the angles and Buck up top, rain down death from above, get an extra pick or 2 picks and kind of get the man advantage, then rotate down and plant. Definitely you need to keep someone above. I'm a big fan of that. I think that can work. I prefer to buck site as you're prepping, and then other 3 or 2 teammates are going downstairs to get ready to plant the diffuser. That way, the defenders or DMG in this situation has less time to rotate any utility or players from Alpha over to Bravo. Once you start bucking the floor above Bravo, that's a telltale sign that Bravo is going to be your preferred site to plant on. That's the one where you're going to spend your utility as the attackers. So before you show your cards to the defenders and say, hey, Bravo is going to be the one we choose to plant, you definitely want to maximize your efficiency and minimize the time the defenders have to respond by having your core breach team ready to go downstairs. And especially if you have a Nomad, use those air jabs, secure the flank stairs there for the Buck, leave one, maybe 2, depending upon how you want to play it up top. Rotate down, go for the breach. Okay, so they have control of Alpha, but now the diffuser's down to 90. So let's play this back, see exactly what happened. Capital pushes down the red stairs. Buck is looking through these holes. I'm more than likely, although I can't confirm because I don't have comms, is SCC has made the call that Bravo was clear. No defenders are on Bravo, or it's the weak side. Okay, so that was a long pause on my part because I had to take full kind of to see what the gameplay was. I suspect that and hope the Buck slash the Capital, when he saw Alpha was clear, made the call. They tried to rotate the diffuser. Didn't work because of this refrag here. That's a good play dynamic, right? That call was made, and obviously this Jaeger rotated to make the call. And what it looks like is that once they took control of site, SCC forgot to open this hatch. If this hatch is open and they have a drone and they can drone Alpha versus focusing all their attention on the vertical gameplay in Bravo, maybe they see this sooner. It looks like, you know, even I here in spectate mode didn't quite realize that there was nobody playing Alpha, nowhere even near Alpha. At this point, if SCC has the intel and they open this hatch, man, they run right down. Okay, well, we had a smoke down there. DMG did have a smoke down there kind of playing this go-between. But still, at this gameplay, this point, this could have been an easy plant if you had the right intel. But they didn't have the intel. They didn't take the time to drone it. They were fixated on Bravo. They tried to rotate down, realized they had an opportunity here in Fireplace Hall, tried to make the rotates, but because the right calls were made, refrags were made, diffuser lands here in 90, and guess what? It's going to be a DMG round. Yep. And SEC didn't lose that because of lack of intel. They lost that because they didn't have the right cadence, right? They had 40 seconds. They were waiting way too late in the game to rotate down. But I will say some of the things that SCC did very well there was the roam clear and top control of site. Prepping that Bravo site via vertical gameplay, that was very beautiful, very good roam clear. There were some opportunities to improve a few team dynamics there, but for the most part, they did that very well. They just seems like they hesitated or were very slow in the site prep phase. And when they picked a site, they didn't really look at all their options, right? That's easy to do real time and to make that, you know, it's easy in spectate mode to see the map and say, hey, look, this is all the real estate that was given to you. But in real time, if you don't have that intel, you don't have that intel. And it's real easy to get focused on what your game plan is and look like the game plan was Bravo. All right, here we are, match point. DMG on defense. They have gone kitchen service. I'm gonna rotate down here to the action to decrease the time the VOD takes. Oh, a little too far into the action. All right, same setup we've seen before. Hey, great defender positioning here. And here's the Jaeger roaming, going up top to control site. Both teams bringing very similar lineups to what they had in the previous rounds where they played this out. SCC at this point is controlling the rotate slash cutoff position. So the rotate and cutoff position for this particular site is New Bakery, also called Soft Small Bakery sometimes. That's the wall, that the window that Nomad's breaking that goes into the cutoff position. Reason that's the cutoff, because from there you can control Kafe wall, you can control kitchen prep flank, and you also control the angle softly onto the service entrance. So you control who rotates on and off site, as well as you have red stairs control. By having red stairs control, in theory, you have a pseudo soft control of main stairs, right? You can't really deny people going up the stairs, but you can deny them coming down, crossing to VIP, and making a play towards white. So this is a very strong angle to control here. They're definitely going to seize that. It's given to them uncontested. Game plan here is to take control of kitchen prep again, and then to open up the cafe wall. Oh, and they do this well. Order of operation. So in order to control Kafe, just like we said the last time this site was played, you have to control prep. And what they did is they thermited this wall to open this angle up, push out the defenders. And now because they should have an ACOG on this door, by the way, to control this angle. But once they take control of this angle, this thermite's going to have an easy time walking up here to Kafe wall and opening up, given that the team can get the wall denial utility off the wall. Now, they didn't bring a Maverick, which means they're going to have to use vertical gameplay. And that's where this Jaeger is going to come in important. Hopefully, he's up there near Train Museum right now, waiting on him. Very aggressive play by the smoke. Not an ideal situation to play. Maybe you had intel and you caught him off, rotate. Hey, very good show of mechanical skill, but that was a one-on-one gunfight that didn't really need to be, wasn't an ideal situation to take that fight with no refrag potential. Oh, and the mute dies here trying to contest the long angle to the attacker ACOGs, man. When you have an attacker, you just got to assume they have an ACOG. And that double A, that AA, attacking ACOG, is not something you want to go up against unless you have one yourself. Alright, they're not electing to go up top. It looks like they're going to make a play for kitchen door because they don't know how to deal with this wall utility. At this point, when the mute dies, he needs to make the call. And then the smoke and the K need to determine who's going to rotate here towards this door to have a crossfire with the bandits. This is the comms that you hope's being made out. The bandit's making a call that he knows they're in prep. Oh, bandit with a beautiful C4 there. Downs the IQ. But it's too late. She's got the wall. Alright, now this is a tough situation to be in. Good smoke here to keep the Ash at bay. But in this scenario, the bandit's going to die because he's dead to rights. Once Kafe wall opens, all of this kitchen area is very, very hard to play in at this point. Extremely hard, especially if they have this line of sight and they control prep. Right now, the attackers have systematically taken control of this line of sight, eliminated kitchen prep and deep sink from playing. And when they've opened this wall, they now have angles into all of kitchen. So they have systematically cut this side in half, control this rotate, and control the rotate out of bar. And now this game's very one-dimensional, and they have very long angles with ACOGs. So right now, if this IQ can get picked up, the attackers have the advantage. Not just in manpower, but they have the advantage in regards to site prep. This is going to be a very easy plan for the thermite to walk in and plant here behind the counters and kitchen. Good smoke by the smoke with a pre-placed smoke murder holes, right, to lob that canister onto site. And obviously our buddy Pin here, we don't quite dig to see it. Oh, and the defenders pull it out. Good smoke. One thing about the smoke, it kills most people in 4 seconds, so if you throw it and hit them right when they start to plant, they're not going to get the plant off. But if you're about halfway through, and I'll have to double check, I don't recall off the top of my head. I think if you're halfway through, you're okay, because as long as it takes, I think the smoke takes about 4 seconds to kill you, so if you're 3 to 4 seconds into the plant, you can continue to finish it. Now, you will die, but the diffuser will be placed and prepped and armed and ready to go. So that's a call that you might have to make real time with your team and determine whether or not they want you to stick it. I would say stick it in most cases. But that really depends upon manpower and positioning of your other team members. So here we go. Match point 6-6. DMG versus SCC. Map 2. The first map went to SCC on Villa. And here we are. DMG is going to be on the attack. I think it's worth noting on this particular tournament round and this particular matchup, on Kafe, both teams have struggled on offense. Both teams bring very similar to setups they used last time while playing Kafe Cocktail Bar, with the exception of SCC rotating out the Monty, or putting the Monty in and rotating out the Capital. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Well, based upon the last couple of rounds, we anticipate SCC is going to go up top, open the hatches, exert control over here of red stairs and new hatch, drop down and start to contest this cutoff position in Cigar Lounge. Probably use the thermite to breach in, definitely to kind of fortify and control an additional angle here and contest this Walmai with a shield. One thing, if you're SCC and you're thinking about, this is a setup that you should have seen before. So as defenders, you know, if they won the previous round, the mindset might be here from DMG is, if it's not broke, don't fix it, man. Let's do exactly what we did last time and force them to prove to us that they can beat this. So some of the similar things we've seen by both teams, they brought in the Monty, but with no attack. No fraggers, man. No entry fraggers and attackers behind the Monty to support that push. Woo! SCC running the same kind of strat. They come down here, they melee the one mine, they're pushing up. Alright, let's go back. Let's recap. Alright, right now, Pojo, the smoke's been, he's been fragged out. It is a 4v5 attacker's advantage. Monty's actively pushing this Walmai. You got a guy on white stairs, got a guy defender here in Cocktail Bar. This is a very strong position. Jaeger gets caught in a 1v1 gunfight down here with Sophia. Both of them took a high-risk gunfight. Sophia came out on top. That's unfortunate. Really hard to trade off here. There's no refrag potential. Now the defenders are down 2. At this point, I would say the defenders are losing. They needed to consider potentially making a play. Sophia uses vertical gameplay to take out the Echo based upon either previous game knowledge and a lucky guess or drone intel. And as the mute tries to transition to make a play, the Monty gives out the call, and everyone adapts and changes their point of view. This Nomad hears the call that he's transitioning through Freezer, makes the play. And that's a good round. Good push by SCC. Tough loss by DMG, man. All right, DMG on the attack. Going back up top. Cocktail bar. Here we go. DMG doing historically what most teams do. Opening the hatches. Exerting control over red stairs. A new hatch. Probably going to drop down. Drone in their entry fraggers. Exert control over trophy. Push this Wama out of position. Frag him out. And then rotate over. So if you know someone's playing this particular angle and you want to take them out, good thing to do, man, is have someone on this window. So as you, like this Nomad, as you push this individual out of position, they're going to rotate, and they're probably not going to expect someone on the window sitting here waiting for them. Maybe they will, depending upon the sound cues, but this is kind of the mindset you should have of how you're going to pick, I'll call this lurkers and roamers off. This is really a lurker. It's an anchor. You know, this Wamai is planning to play behind this shield until he dies and or gets an opportunity to get out to deny this area. This is kind of his camping ground. So when he decides to take up his tent and leave, you want to be on this window making sure that he's not going to, you know, he's not going to move around easily. He's not going to run away without having to think about and watch his step and think about whether or not he's going to take this window gunfight. Now here are the drones. Entry fragger should be right behind him, trying to trade these drones off for these defenders. I do like the kind of the play here with the Nomad on white stairs, kind of harassing. That Nomad on white stairs, that's kind of serves the same purpose as this window, right? You have that long angle onto the back of Cigar Lounge door, and also you kind of contest white stairs landing, right? And the bathroom, if anyone's in there trying to play this bathroom, rotate into white stairs. So the white stairs Nomad is a strong play. You just don't have to commit to it until you can ensure you have control trophy. Alright, DMG is going to not waste time, use a ton of utility here to push out the Walmite, get the frag, well played. That's exactly how you want to do it. They've quickly controlled the cutoff. At this point, they have some options. They can send their Thermite to open up Freezer and control these rotates. They can also use the sledge right here to open this wall. That will give them that attacking ACOG long angle, which is in their advantage to use here on the crossfire to Bravo. Opening this wall, pushing the dock out, using that sledge into a soft breach to open this wall, all of a sudden Bravo becomes the go-to site to plan on. So I can't tell if the Habana used her hard breaching capability to open this wall. I don't think so, based upon some of the gunfire here. Great positioning by DMG. Look at this. You got the Ash covering this angle. The sledge has the cross on Bravo, and IQ's got the white stairs hallway here covering the flank. The diffuser is going to go down. Oh. SCC with a smoke hinder, they anticipated a default plant here behind the bar, and that smoke through it, and was just ever so slightly off the Mana. Great round. Alright, so this is a teachable moment here. This is great positioning. The entire team's here. This is a well-played attack by DMG. They're going to be able to plant this diffuser, and there's nothing the defenders can do right now to stop them. Smoke gets picked off by this cross from Sledge. This Echo should get picked off by this Sledge here in just a few seconds. Gets hit by the Nomad, but no one capitalizes on that Q. Alright. I'm going to go back because I think this is definitely a mistake by DMG, but a very teachable moment that happens, I think, a lot in competitive games, especially in the rank circuit on Rainbow Six Siege. This position right here is very strong. You have the flank covered, you have the cross covered on the plant, and you have an ash back here covering the plant angle and also able to rotate into either towards Cigar Lounge to cover the long angle and or to come over here and back up the IQ in the event the sledge or the IQ gets downed. So there's a lot of versatility here. This is a very strong position. This is such a strong position that the defenders here couldn't stop the plant, right? The diffuser goes down. There's not a whole lot they can do about it. DMG has the man advantage. It's a 4v2, and because they have the man advantage, they don't have to try any shenanigans. They can sit here, hold their ground, and pick off the defenders as they try to take. The way to think about this is that, boom, DMG put the diffuser down. Defenders couldn't stop them. There's a good chance if they hold their ground, defenders aren't going to be able to defuse it either, right? They're going to take it away from them. But as you notice, as soon as the diffuser goes down, the attackers overextend and underextend their position, so they give up the crossfire, leaving the diffuser vulnerable and giving up all this space and angles and real estate. The IQ becomes overly aggressive and pushes in. And at this point, what was a solidified wall of perfect crossfire covering that diffuser, making it an invincible wall to deal with, or a very challenging wall to deal with, all falls apart, and it makes this ending very complicated, right? I understand what's trying to happen here is the diffuser's down, everybody wants to go up to the skylight or get on the window and play that cheeky angle and listen for sound cues and pick them off, right? Rather than have these face-to-face gunfights. And that's not a bad strategy if you're 1v1 or 2v2 or you don't have the main advantage and you were able to sneak a defuse and you need to kind of keep the defenders on the toes, right? So they just don't overwhelm you and push you out and defuse. But when you have the main advantage or you have such a strong position, the diffuser's down, don't give that real estate and angles back. Hold your position. And if you start to lose the gunfights and it becomes a situation where it is a 1v1 or 2v2, then reconsider your positioning. In this situation, this is definitely going to be a DMG win just because they have the numbers, but it makes this ending a little more complicated than it should be. Hopefully. But overall, great attack. Definitely the way you want to push the site and plant the diffuser by DMG. All right, 7-7 match point. Winner takes all. Hard-fought game between DMG and SCC. DMG is going back to the basement. I should say the bottom floor, the ground floor. Kitchen, service. Bringing the same lineup they've historically played with the Mute, Bandit, and Cade. Playing the Smoke and the Jaeger. So expect to see a similar lineup. Smoke's going to probably play service door. Cade in the Bandit. Cade played in the bag. Bandit played towards the front and kitchen. We're going to see if SCC pushes this any differently. Their kitchen push failed last time. Although it was quite successful in taking control of real estate and taking control of kitchen and cafe, they couldn't quite turn that into advantage. They just took a little too long and weren't able to deal with the smoke canisters. They're electing to roam clear, the top, bottom. A very good window play from them to cut off the rotates in the event that someone was playing cocktail. So right here at a minute in, SCC has shown that their roam clearing capabilities from the top, bottom type gameplay on this particular map is pretty solid. Here at a minute, they've always pushed the roamers out. There's some opportunities for improvement, but I mean they're achieving what they're hoping to achieve here, taking control of top of site. Pretty soon here they're going to be able to exert some vertical gameplay and rain down death from above. Alright, so this Ash is overextended. She doesn't have any with her. Going for the one-on-one gunfight with the Jaeger and loses. Definitely a mistake. Guys, if as attackers you don't want to take one-on-one gunfights, You want to force the defenders into positions where they don't have equal chances. And right there, that was an equal chance gunfight. And the attackers lost. They lost a body, man, and they have absolutely no refag potential, and they didn't have any compensation for that loss. So right now, DMG is definitely winning. Looks like the attackers are using vertical gameplay here to make the lives of the defenders very complicated. They're going to... This is a tough spot. This mute's coming back in, and if you remember up top, Sledge had this open, so he's got to angle down into kitchen prep. So when that happens, this is very critical as a team that you communicate, both as attackers and defenders, what kind of vertical spots are being opened and what parts of the site are no longer viable. I don't think this is a viable spot, and this Sledge was kind of camping here, so he's probably waiting on this mute. I suspect he's going to get picked off here pretty quick. But maybe not. Maybe the Sledge is rotated. Sledge is down. Woo. Well, so much for good gameplay, man. Rover goes up top. They take the fight up top, win the gunfights. Right now it's a 1v5. DMG just takes the game. Alright, let's go back to this last round. Take a look at see what quite happened. So since I don't have her camera up top, it's hard to see those gunfights. Just the disadvantage of being in spectator mode. Right here, Sledge is right here on top of this kitchen prep vertical hole playing this door, and that's why I thought the mute was dead to rights. He clearly rotates off that. Looks like the mute might actually fragged him out through the floor. Well played pinch here by the Smoke and the Yinger on this IQ, making the turning the tides. There's no hope for this thermite at this point. Way too much advantage on site. Round goes to DMG. And they bring it back for the win. Alright guys, well I do these videos to point out some opportunities and also to give a few shout outs for some things that teams are doing well. Taking a look at this, based upon what I saw, please don't take my comments personally. All these guys showed some great mechanical skill, and I really respect the fact that they're all playing in a competitive league here in Siege and trying to positively grow the community. This is a very challenging game, to my opinion, to master, and I appreciate the opportunity to do the VOD review on their behalf. I wish both of them well with their seasons. Good luck, guys. Until next time, keep them in check, man. Don't forget to wreck.